Good evening and good morning. Duterte power. Always let's support our President Duterte, and we love you. Always continue doing what you're doing, Tatai. And just forget about other people who's trying to interrupt and confuse a lot of people in our country in the Philippines, especially this stupid idiot TRALIANES, and still continue with the same thing, and this human rights and all this kind of stuff, and extra killing and all that also. Now this kind of TRALIANES and Grace and some others comes with this Hindi Filipinas. Hindi Filipinas. What the F is that? Because it's like, do you know what they used to do? Hi Hitler. That's most of it. Hi Hitler. So they're taking that kind of thing, Hindi Filipinas, from Hitler itself. German, if a lot of people doesn't know who's Hitler, but they're taking the Hindi Filipinas. What the fuck is that? This kind of trillion shit. And then some other idiotic people, and these Hindi Filipino, and the other idiots, they're over there repeating the same shit like Hi Hitler, Hi Hitler. What the fuck? This is a kind of symbol which is idiotic, Illuminati symbols, which most of people they use it, and then they are copying what Illuminati signs. Hindi Filipinas, your ass, stupid idiotic trillianers, because you should be shot. Definitely that's exactly, it's gonna come a day that's exactly what is gonna happen to you. Because it's nothing else apart from that. Stop making groups, stop fighting in our president just because you're stupid ignorant, and then you're trying to think you got away with all the stupid corruption you done as stupid Italians. You get away with a lot of things, and your mouth is still open. Lila Dilemma, it was the same shit. And some idiotic foreigners trying to go to a Billard prison to visit this Dalai Dilemma. But you see it, what all this kind of comes like a circle. People going and taking. And if people pays much more attention, the corruption and those people that were corrupted, and Lila Dilemma and Terlianes got into government through corruption and through growing with drug dealing and drug this and that. And they are still famous. These days, that's how it goes. People become famous of doing stupid, idiotic things. I'm not a professional on this. It's all most of what I talk about in my opinion, and what I like about our president. I like about our Filipinos, and I like our country to be. And for me and for other people, please open your eyes. See how you are at this moment and where our country is going to, because our country will be one time, and it will be a best place to be. In Asia is growing, Europe is going down. And people, remember this martial law and everything, and then these extra killings, like all you guys doing it and saying that our president is doing it. It's not like that. Try, accidents happens. People can be crossfire, it happens. It happens to even the best in battle, in wars and everything, friendly fire, and then they can kill their own mates. So when police evades or goes into a place to invade a place or stuff like that, probably should be acting a little bit more professional, and they should be like that. But, crossfires can happen. And don't come with this extra killings and human rights, this and that. Because all of us, we have human rights. And even on the Philippines before, none of you guys have much of a human rights. Even if still you had some, but not as much as you guys do now. Plus, you don't had a voice before. A lot of people over there in our country, in the Philippines, had much of a voice of anything. Except just now, because our president, Mr. President Duterte, gives that kind of freedom to the people to do and, do whatever they want to do and still say whatever they want to do. Isn't it that's what's happening? That's why all of you have a freedom at this moment in time to talk the way you guys do. Plus, Australians talks like that because, before his corruption, now he stopped. Our president locked him out from corruption, him and some others. Now what I have to do? Get some other people against it and protested against our president, which is doing right. And brainwashing of people and tell you what you want. And some people just want to listen to that just because it's maybe extra killings, like they say. Or maybe this happened and our president done this and our president done that. Stop calling our president a liar. Stop calling and accusing him what he's not doing and what he promises. People, you should know, even we promise something, we cannot do everything what we promise. If you promise something, sometimes promise will be broken because it's not how it is and how it works. Sometimes everything has to be modified. Sometimes things doesn't work the way we like to do. And sometimes, yes, at this moment in time, I can tell you, I can promise this, I can promise that. But later on in life, in everything in life, anything can change. And then you have to modify it. And then you might break your promise. So myself, I don't use words of promises, but I'll try. And that's something most of the humans on this planet is try. Promises, and then people just can hear what they want to hear and what they want to understand. So this kind of Hindi Filipinas, it comes for Heil Hitler. And this is a bad sign to do, and is a Illuminati sign, and it shouldn't be used anyway. And the people who's following that, I don't think they have any clue, any idea, this Hindi Filipino shit, which who comes up Hindi Filipinas. Before Marajas, he was doing, what the fuck is that with a kid? Like, it's semi-idiotics, which they try to get attention from everything else. And at this moment in time, because all these things is new in our country, in the Philippines, that's what's happening. It's something new. You could become so famous in our country right now at this moment in time of doing the wrong thing against the other person, which is trying to do the right thing. But remember, it's not always the people who's doing the wrong. It's always, no matter what, in the end, they are the ones to suffer. But the people who's trying to battle and to do the right is the people who will help, the help from other places and from above and everything else to make it correct. At this moment in time, like I said, we have the right presidents around the world and around the countries. So if we don't support our president and you guys want to follow this idiotic TRALIANES, just imagine if any other idiotic president comes into our country, what do you think Philippines is going to be? And what do you think our country in the Philippines, where is going to go back to? Okay? Because if our president, anything happens to him or this and that, and somebody else will take over our country, what do you think is going to happen to it? Think about it. Plus, a while ago, some people, they were saying, we're supposed to be living in US, but we're still working with US and like this, like that. You know what? Of course, doesn't matter everything what we say. Maybe in our country, we're not going to work with some parts of some other countries or probably US, because I also don't like US. I hate US. But still doesn't matter what. You still have to talk and work with some countries because of tourists. There's kind of bombing everywhere. This kind of people who's going around getting armies and bombarding people and killing innocent people and putting bombs everywhere. Of course, they have to work with other countries to get information and to pass it on and on. This is what's going on. This is what comes up like this, like that. So that's how we need to work together. But, these kind of things like this, people, is really ridiculous. We need to put our minds in place, stop being brainwashed, and then understanding about this kind of extradition killings and so. Other people try to confuse you. And this TRALIANES and some other groups try to confuse you. I understand a lot of things happening in our country. It's not just in the Philippines. It's everywhere in the world. America is happening so much over there. Protesting, killing every day. Does anybody go to America and saying we're having extra killings? Does anybody come over here to UK and say we have extra killings? You just hear in some countries what they want you to hear. The news is still controlled by a lot of people. America, it was controlled by politics. All this world is controlled by politics in bigger places, bigger than our president, bigger than anything else. Our president is just a representative of the people of our country, and he's trying to do our best, his best actually, for all of us in our country. But what our people's doing? You just see only one man, and you people is trying to accuse one man. It's not just one man. He's doing his best, but also he has to answer to others. Now, working together, like some this kind of idiotic TRALIANES, and he has one guy over there, we try to work together and all kind of stuff. Hindi, Filipinos, their ass. Just making confusion and making more problem. Is this helping? Is this working together? How? For now, Duterte power, always the support our President Duterte. You know, just people, think about it. Who was the best president until today, until now? And this Hindi Filipino is High Hitler. That's a bad sign. And that is a Illuminati sign. So people don't follow like shadow of eyes, fingers, and Hindi Filipinos and all kind of stuff, because that is all bullshit and that is against God's religions. It's not just because of religions, but it's just what people being brainwashed and continuously from some idiotics who's trying to get some power, and they're trying to involve people around it just to get some power, some little attention. Like this idiotic TRALIANES and some others who's around in his group trying to get more attention. If any of you vote for this idiotic TRALIANES and some other people who's against our president, remember this. All of you will do the same thing and worse what you guys trying to do with our president. So please, think about it carefully. Have a good afternoon, and I support President Duterte. And for me, he's the best president we ever had, and he will be the best ever, continuously. Duterte power. Do the right thing. And forget this flipping Hindi Filipino shit, which is stupid idiotic TRALIANES.